Dr. Kimberly Brown is a leader in the field of hepatology, developing programs that have dramatically expanded the availability of liver and other organ transplants throughout the Midwest. As lead investigator in scores of research projects, she has done work that has led to pioneering treatments in the battle against hepatitis and other liver diseases. Dr. Brown grew up in a small town in rural Michigan before attending the University of Michigan. She then went on to receive her medical degree at Wayne State University. She completed her residency in internal medicine and a fellowship in gastroenterology at the University of Michigan Medical Center, ultimately serving as chief medical resident. In 1994, she joined Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit as medical director of liver transplantation and later became division chief. As primary investigator in over 30 research trials, she has contributed to major breakthroughs in the treatment of viral hepatitis, advanced liver disease, and post-liver transplant management. When she began her career, hepatitis C was an infectious disease with poor prognosis for its patients. Thanks to her and other investigators' research, hepatitis C became a manageable disease. Today, we are at the cusp of another major advance. A simple all-oral treatment regimen that has been described as the first true cure of the infection. Dr. Brown is also one of the most sought-after teachers in the field. She promotes better medical outcomes through balancing the explosion of new technologies with the careful, compassionate, and hands-on observation and treatment of patients. In addition, she is a popular figure and author on the national healthcare scene, presenting at conferences and meetings on liver transplantation and viral hepatitis treatments. Furthermore, she is active at Henry Ford in multiple leadership roles, including sitting on the Board of Governors and Board of Trustees, helping to shape the institution's future and inspiring all those around her to excel. The 2015 National Physician of the Year Award for Clinical Excellence, Dr. Kimberly Brown.
But I'd like to start by sharing a story, a patient story, because that's what I do. One of my patients, he came to see me first in 2007. He was 51 at the time. He was a father to a 13-year-old girl and a husband. And like you saw in the video, he had hepatitis C, as most of my patients do. And despite our best efforts at treatment, he developed cirrhosis. Medical therapies at that time were very difficult. Patients couldn't tolerate them well, and viral cures were less than 5% of the patients who could actually take the therapy. So in 2008 and again in 2012, he required a liver transplantation in an attempt to restore him back to health. But following his second liver transplant, the virus became very aggressive, and within 8 months, his second liver transplant was failing, and we really had no medical alternatives for him. His daughter was just graduating from high school, and we were really out of options. But there was a medication that we had been studying in clinical trials, termed at that time 7977, and through the work of our nurses and research staff, our patient was finally able to start the drug in early 2013 through a compassionate use program because the drug had not yet been FDA approved. The problem was our patient was dying because although he had received the medication and we could no longer detect his virus, we'd really gotten the medication to him too late. It's very uncommon for patients to receive a third liver transplant, but the team looked at the situation and thought that because he was clear of the virus, perhaps this could be a benefit to him and he would do well. So just a month after starting the new medication, he received yet a third liver transplant. His course was rocky, as you might expect, but he was able to complete the medication. He made a full recovery, and today he's alive, he's cured of hepatitis C, and he enjoys normal liver function and excellent health. He gives back. He volunteers for the support group in the Henry Ford Transplant Institute, and he's working toward becoming a pastor. And that 13-year-old daughter is now grown and is working toward becoming a nurse. The medication he received, by the way, was approved 9 months after he received his third liver transplant. And he and I both recognize that had it not been for the compassionate use program, he would never have lived to see that day. So who are the heroes of this story? Well, certainly the patient, his family, the donor families, for trusting all of us to have the knowledge and expertise to define a strategy to help him overcome illness. Certainly the nurses, physicians, administrative and research staff, for the constant care, communication, support, and expertise they provided him throughout his entire journey. Certainly the scientists who discovered and characterized hepatitis C, as well as those who pioneered the early development of direct therapies against the virus. And certainly the pharmaceutical company for not only developing the medication which saved his life, but for having the courage to allow him access to the medication before FDA approval. Medicine is really a team sport. And although physicians may at times be the coach or the quarterback, it takes the entire team to execute excellence. I work with over 1,200 outstanding physicians who make up the Henry Ford Medical Group. And each day I come to work, I am blessed with the opportunity to care for individuals who come seeking access to the amazing medical advances I and all of you have seen throughout our careers. I've practiced through a time where the limited options that I could once offer patients have really developed now into cures for many of their diseases. Through clinical trials and transplantation, we've been able to help patients gain access to life-saving treatments and restore both function and health to individuals with liver disease. To return a father to his family or a mother to her husband and children is nothing short of a miracle. What an amazing time it is that we live and practice medicine in. My only regret is my life will be too short to appreciate all that I think is to come. I want to thank Castle Connolly for this recognition. It has been an honor over the years to be included in their listing of physicians. I want to thank my children and my family. My sister-in-law is here tonight. She came from Detroit. For the constant support they've given me over my career, and especially to my husband, Tony. He was such a great dad that my 3 children barely knew I was always at the hospital. And finally, I want to thank my patients for granting me the privilege every day of hearing their stories and inspiring me to do my very best. Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank Castle Connolly for including me in the list of honorees this evening. It's been a pleasure over the years to be included in that list, and I have a number of friends and colleagues that I have a great deal of respect for, so it's been a pleasure to be included this evening.